It says I'm live. Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for February 6th. February 6th is the 37th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, with 328 days remaining to the end of the year, 329 in leap years. Oh, doggone it. Did I really not get a word of the day? Well, I think I described one down in the material here, so maybe I'll go borrow that from there and tell you that graffito is a noun that means an inscription or a drawing on a public surface, such as a rock or a wall. It can also be a message or slogan written as or as if as a graffito. Graffito is the singular form of graffiti. Graffito. All right, let's move that right up there to the word of the day. Okay. A little rearranging in the episode. I'd like to take a moment to mention that links to my research are included in the show notes. Ask you to go ahead and click that like button. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with others. You can do that with the link in your email, messaging, or social media. Let's see here. Did I already say, let me know your thoughts in the comments? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And yes, I have a playlist to This Day in History, my This Day in History series, linked in the show notes. I'll also put a link up in the iCards there, along with a link to last year's This Day in History episode. And with that, we are going to start in the year 60. That is a long time ago. Almost 2,000 years, not quite. The year 60. February 6th in the year 60 is the earliest date for which the day of the week is known. The note about this says that a graffito in Pompeii identified this day as Sunday. And then we already talked about what a graffito is. Back then, people loved to write stuff on walls just like they do now. So it happened. This is the birthday of Anne, Queen of Great Britain, Queen of England, Scotland, and Ireland, born February 6th, 1665. England and Scotland actually united as a single sovereign state known as Great Britain in 1707, and she continued to reign as Queen of Great Britain and Ireland until her death in 1714 at the age of 49. On February 6th, 1685, James II of England and 7th of Scotland, that's all one name, James II of England and 7th of Scotland, was proclaimed king upon the death of his brother Charles II. James II of England and 7th of Scotland was the last Catholic monarch of England, Scotland, and Ireland. Okay. Notifications. This is the birthday of Aaron Burr, born February 6th, 1756. He was the third vice president of the United States. And yikes, during his last year as vice president, he engaged in a duel with Alexander Hamilton, in which he fatally shot Hamilton. Now, dueling was actually illegal by this time, but for some reason, Burr was never tried, and the charges were eventually dropped. He might not have had to go to prison over this, but it certainly ruined his political career. He went west, made a few more ill-advised life choices. Of course, there's a lot more, but I think that's enough Aaron Burr for right now. He lived to the age of 80. On February 6, 1778, New York became the third state to ratify the Articles of Confederation. And you might remember that we mentioned the Articles of Confederation yesterday. It has nothing to do with the war between the states, which was almost 100 years later. The Articles of Confederation was an agreement among the first 13 states of the Union that served as its first constitution. Ratification was completed by all 13 states by early 1781. And then a few years later, the current Constitution was hashed out, and on February 6, 1788, Massachusetts became the sixth state to ratify the United States Constitution. This is the birthday of English priest, author, and academic Henry Liddell, last name spelled Liddell. He was born February 6, 1811, and he wrote some significant texts. But the thing that I remember him for is that he was the father of Alice Liddell, the little girl for whom Lewis Carroll wrote Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I want to call Mr. Liddell doctor, but I don't know if he had that title in life. But Henry Liddell lived to the age of 86, just a few weeks shy of his 87th birthday. This is the birthday of baseball great Babe Ruth, George Herman Ruth. He was born February 6, 1895. Get those numbers straight. February 6, 1895. There's a lot to know and tell about Babe Ruth, but we're going to keep moving. I will tell you, though, that Babe Ruth was one of the first 5 inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame in 1936. Of course, that is an incredible honor to be among that number. And that said, as I've mentioned before, not everyone who gets in on the first ballot, but Babe Ruth sure did with 95.13% of the vote, 95.13. That's a significant number of votes. Babe Ruth lived to the age of 53. This is the birthday of Ronald Reagan, born February 6, 1911. He was, of course, a very popular movie star and then governor of California and then the 40th president of the United States. Mr. Reagan lived to the age of 93. The American Legion was founded on February 6, 1919. Pause. The American Legion was founded on February 6, 1919. Pause. A 5-day strike began in Seattle, Washington on February 6, 1919. Apparently, there had been wage controls in place during World War I, and the war was over, workers wanted higher wages, and several unions joined the walkout. More than 65,000 workers participated in this strike. And did I mention that it was, a 5-day strike started on this day in 1919. On February 6, 1952, Elizabeth II became Queen of England, I got to say it right. Elizabeth II became Queen of the United Kingdom and her other realms and territories and head of the Commonwealth upon the death of her father, George VI. She was not in the country at the moment, but was visiting, we might presume on vacation, in Africa. Jack Kilby of Texas Instruments filed the first patent for an integrated circuit on February 6, 1959. And I'm pretty sure that kind of technology makes this kind of technology possible. Michael Jordan made his signature slam dunk from the free throw line on February 6, 1988. The image of this awesome jump served as the inspiration for Air Jordan and the Jumpman logo. Other than that, we had train crashes, earthquakes, plane crashes, and at least one really mean nor'easter blizzard on February 6 in various years. And many, many more notable birthdays. And that's all I have for you today. Hope you learned something you didn't know before. I know I sure did. I always do. As always, links to my research are included in the show notes. And again, I'll have links up there to the playlist and last year's episode. And maybe, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if there's anything else that needs to go up. But for sure, the playlist and last year's episode. Alrighty, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And now we go look for the thank you very much button, and thank you very much.